Good afternoon, fellow Plexers. Today we're going to help Jorge with a quick video. He's trying to add multiple cuts of Apocalypse Now. So, I'm in my normal elementary OS desktop, but I'm booted into Ubuntu 22.04, where I have a virtual Plex server running with public domain media. So this is my server, and this is my folder structure. And I think folder structure is one of the most important things. And I set everything up as if I was going to be running a Docker container, even though this virtual one is a Plex or an Ubuntu Snap Plex install. So I have a sort folder for movie libraries, I have a sort folder for music libraries, and I have a sort folder for TV show libraries. And I brought in a dummy file. This is a little 10-second video I recorded with this same webcam. It's not real media. And if I go in, I have different movie libraries, and right now I have an Apocalypse Now movie folder, all properly structured, and inside I have 3 different editions. I don't feel the need to label the theatrical edition as anything besides its normal movie name, because the assumption is every movie in your movie library is a theatrical edition unless you have a special edition alongside it. So the names are all identical except for the edition tag. Edition-final cut in the curly Q brackets and edition-redo. So let's back up a little bit and let's talk about Plex's wonderful guides. So I am under the movie files naming and organizing section, and we want to look at these 3 support articles. This is the main one. It tells you how to set up your library structure. Now what I disagree with, and this is only because I think many paths lead to Docker containers, is you want to set up your structure with lowercase letters and no spaces to be Linux Docker compliant. And if you set it up that way, you can move to Docker containers later on without a harm. Now, it's not always lowercase and no spaces, only with your structure above your actual music artist name, above your actual movie name, or above your actual TV series name. The actual movie folder can have uppercase letters and spaces. So this document gives you the basic naming structure, and it gives plenty of examples. You'll see your movie library folder, and I'm just using sort library folders below this before I get, above this. So you create a movie folder for the movie, and then you put your movie file in it, all named to its entry at either TMDB or IMDb. And I like to include the source ID, and I happen to use the TMDB source ID because Plex never misses a match that way. So this is the basic naming structure, and then multiple editions is what Jorge has now. I'm sorry, multiple versions is what he has now, and that's this document. And if you have multiple versions, Plex is supposed to play the one best for the client, and you just add a little bit of additional labeling. You have the proper movie name, you use a space, and then you can put something like 1080p, 2160p, 720p, or SD. And this way you can have multiple versions of the file named differently, and Plex will just scan it all under one poster, and then the client app, based on its connection, is supposed to be able to play the best version for that client app. And that's what Jorge is seeing now. Well, the multiple edition library shows you how, multiple edition document, support document shows you how to add the edition tag. So this one would be edition-director's cut. And if we slide down, once it scans in, you'll see the edition in this field. Now, you can split Jorge can split his movies apart manually and go in and edit each one and add the edition tag this way. So here's some more examples, and this is the first time Plex shows that you can use a period as the official separator between different parts of the file name besides that space dash space. But note, they never use it in the proper movie name for the file or for the folder. And Jorge has spaces here, and he doesn't have his year in parentheses, so he's not compliant. But the whole point of this video is to show him how compliancy works. So let's go back. So I have my 3 different movies all prepped properly in the proper name folder. It's all structured just like those documents say to, and we're going to move it into the main movie library. So let me pull my web app back up. What am I doing here? So if we go to movies, you'll see that movie isn't there yet. And if I simply scan for it, Plex detected it. Oh, and we have an issue. Houston, we have an issue. There must be a server bug. This should not have happened. No wonder Jorge is having problems. Well, I had a brain freeze. This would not have happened on my normal server. And luckily, I remembered it quickly after pausing the video. Multiple editions is a Plex Pass feature. And unless you have Plex Pass, you can't name them this way. And you'd have to manually split the movies apart and edit them. So let's show that. I'll go to the 3 dots, which is more. And I'll choose split apart. I'll choose yes. And if I back up, now I have the 3 different movies. And let's just start with the last one. If I go to info, I'll see that that's the regular version. If I go to this one and check with info, this one is the Redux or Redo edition. And note, I won't have the edition tag because again, that's a Plex Pass feature. But I can do something like this. So we're cheating a little bit because we don't have Plex Pass on this server. And of course, you'd have to check. Maybe the default posters might have a Final Cut poster, and if not, you could substitute your own. So there's a Final Cut poster. And here's the proper poster for this one. So this is a manual fix right now, but it would have scanned it in with the edition tag properly if I had Plex Pass enabled on this test server, and I'm signed in with a completely different test Plex account than my normal server. So that's the answer. I wish I could have shown it fully, but that's the answer. You know what? Let me find a movie on my server and show it fully. Hold on. Okay, so I dragged over the web app from my regular server, and you'll see how I have 2 versions of It's a Wonderful Life. I did not find a new poster for the special version. So this is how a default edition tag shows up. It just says colorized here. And if we go in and examine it, you'll see I have the edition-colorized tag added to the file name. And now it's in the same folder as the other version. And of course, FileBot gives me a descriptive file name that's perfectly compliant. Just by looking at the file name, I want to know the resolution, how it was encoded, the audio situation with the number of channels, the audio codec, and also whether the media has embedded English subtitles. FileBot does all that for me. If I look at the other one, you'll see that this is just like the Apocalypse Now example. I'm not adding an edition tag to the theatrical version. And Plex just scans these in perfectly fine. So Jorge, I hope that answered the question. I wish I could have showed you the media scanning in with the edition tags, but with my little virtual server lacking a Plex Pass, I'm not able to do that. Thanks for watching.